Hello and welcome back. It's puzzle time with Sudoku Sleuth, and today we're going to be playing 7th Avenue. Now, there's a few constructors where I think, well, I haven't played a puzzle from them for a while. FullDeck and Missing a few cards is absolutely one of them, and when I saw a 2-star difficulty rated puzzle to play this weekend, I knew we're absolutely going to feature this one. Now, 7th Avenue, I actually used to live on 7th Avenue when I was living in New York, so some good memories there. 20 years ago when I was much younger. And indeed, it used to be, at least on the segment where I lived, one way heading south. And you can see Sleuth standing there outside at night. It's all looking very scary and creepy. Thankfully not where I was living, but who knows where Sleuth is at the moment. Anyway, let's take a look at today's puzzle and rule set, which one of the reasons, aside from the fact that the title is 7th Avenue, it's all about skyscrapers. So certainly a good reminder of New York. If you're not familiar with skyscrapers, don't worry, I'm going to walk you through them quickly now. Rules-wise, we've got Sudoku, skyscrapers, and cages. If you know what all of that means, link in the description down below for you to play. On the off chance that you don't, Sudoku, place the digits 1 to 9 once each in every row, every column of course, and then every 3x3 box. So skyscrapers, I actually used to play this before I got into Sudoku, some of these logic puzzles, and skyscrapers was amongst them. So each cell represents a skyscraper whose height is the digit in that cell. Taller skyscrapers obscure the view of smaller ones, and clues outside the grid tell you how many skyscrapers are visible looking across the row or column from that direction of the clue. That's a lot of words to say something as follows. Essentially, what this is saying is that it should be able to see 7 buildings in this direction. It doesn't have to be consecutive, but essentially, you could do something like 2, 3, 4, hide the 1, because that's clearly a 1-story building. It's not going to be visible behind a 4-story building. We can keep going, 5, 8. So this is, oh, that's a bad example. That's 7. I can hide the 6-story building behind the 7-story building, and then I have 8 and 9. I clearly broke the killer cage there. But I have a total of 7 visible skyscrapers that is required by this number at the top. Right, we've got, of course, cages. Digits in cages cannot repeat and must sum to the value shown in the upper left corner of the cage. So I would have to put a -2 in here to get to that 9, so that's definitely not going to work. But if, for example, this cell is a 1, this would have to be a 6 to make sure these two cells add up to 7. So fairly straightforward set of rules, but frankly, not a lot of information has been given. As always, if you want to play along, link in the description down below for you to do so. And with that said, I'm going to restart the clock and see how I get on. Sorry, I'm thinking out loud. I'm thinking that it will be helpful to first experiment with one of the 7s. Let's experiment with the 7. So essentially, I think the highest digits that I can place in them are something as follows. If I place a 9 any closer to the 7, it would be a maximum of 6. So essentially, if this cell is 9, well, even if all of these are in a row, I could see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 buildings, and then obviously everything after the 9 is not going to be visible. So this is the minimum set of digits that you could have in front of any of the 7s. No, that's not what I meant to say. The maximum digits in these cells in front of any of the 7s. Now, in some cases, where there is a 7 cage, like this one, almost this one, not quite. In fact, yeah, we do get a few digits straight away, right? So think about this row 4, this 7 inside it. We know that the highest I can make this cell is a 9, and clearly it is not a 9 inside a 7 cage. The only place for a 9 in row 4 is in here. The only place for an 8, because again it can't be inside the 7 cage, is in here. Kind of the maximum. And essentially these are my 2 hidden digits, because they're behind the 8 and the 9 is obviously visible, but all of the rest have to be visible to allow me to get to a skyscraper clue of 7. Right, just remember these because we're clearly going to reference them quite a bit. So 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5, 6, 6, 7, 8. No, I've got too many degrees there. Haven't I? 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I've got 5. Sorry. There. Now imagine some combos are not true. Let me give you an example of what I mean by that. If this cell is 3, I've broken the 7 cage. Because the 7 is going to be made up of a low digit of 1, 2, 3 with another counterpart of 4, 5, 6. So this couldn't possibly be a 3. I think it's fine for this to be a 4. 4, 5. No. If this is 4, then the opposite problem happens. 4, 5, 6, 7. And then I've used my 4, 5, and 6. So I can't make that a 4, and therefore I can't make this a 3. Okay. Right, we have a bit of a break-in. Obviously, the maximum here was 1, 2, 3. That's 4, 5, 6. Here is actually, I probably should have started here. It was almost certainly intended for us to start in column 4. This can only be 3, 4. Because if I go with 1, 2, and 3, 4, 5, and 6 as an example, clearly this is going to be the higher digits so it can actually be visible. But if you think essentially, if I put a 1 and a 6, I've broken the puzzle because 6 can't be any closer than here. And then 5 and 4. Yeah, so this is 4. So this is 4, this is 3. And then in essence, I need... Well, I don't need this to be steadily climbing. So if this is not 4, therefore this is not 5. But in essence, I need the 8 and the 9 visible. And the 8 clearly can't be here or inside the 7 cage because I've got it in this box. The invisible digits are 1 and 2. Yes, the invisible digits are 1 and 2. So I need all the other high digits, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, to be visible. So this is 1, 2, or 5. That can be a 5 if this is a 6. And then presumably this is... Can it be 7? Yes, I could do 5, 6. No, it can't be. If I do 7 in here, remember that 5 and 6 have to be visible. And obviously if I place them after the 7, they won't be. So that would have to be 6. That would have to be 5. So far, so good. But what happens to this cell? So long story short, 7 is not here. 7 is clearly not there. It breaks this 7. And it can't be inside a cage. So 7, 8, 9. And then I have, I think any of them work here. But then when I get to here, I can't make this a 5 because essentially what it's saying is that the 6 is before it, hiding the 5. Okay. I probably know that this is the 1, 2, 3, this is the 4, 5, 6, just looking at this 7. You know, maybe something that I should have been doing is coloring the hidden clues. So some of these digits are not visible to the clue at the top. There's a 1 and 2 in here, but all of these are visible, and the 5 and 6 must be visible. This is clearly invisible to this 7. I don't know if this is a good idea, but I'm just going to... Because once you have one hidden clue, it's getting towards the point where it's almost forced. The fact that we have a 3, by the way, in here, tells me that these two are 1 and 2, because we already knew that it's maximum of 3, and that is not available in row 1 anymore. So this is a 1, 2 pair. And clearly there's a bunch of digits that are higher than this one. And actually the 4 is fairly powerful, isn't it? Especially in column 1. So the pencil marks for this, remember the maximum that would have been allowed in here was a 4. So this is essentially my, like I could literally do this in essence for all of the clues. And that's basically the second position in front of every 7, except it is not 1 or 2, and it's not 4. This is forced to be a 3. And this is 1, 2, 3, 4. It's not 3 or 4. This is 1, 2. Interesting. And sorry, I'm just gonna keep going. So this was 3, 4, 5. Well, this is clearly not 1 or 2 anymore. This is 3, 4, 5. Presumably this could be 3, 4, 6. 3, 4, 5, 6. Not very useful. Can it be 3? So obviously if it's 3, that would be a higher digit. That would be the other hidden clue, which is fine. I can have up to 2 hidden clues, providing all the rest are basically consecutive. Okay. Ooh, I haven't been thinking clearly enough. Right, look at how powerful the 9 is in row 9 when it comes to this 7 clue. Because in essence, it tells me that's not the 9. And therefore the 9 is in one of these 2 cells. And this is absolutely hidden now from this column because the 9 is ahead of it, whatever that digit is. So I think that's now telling me that the rest of these basically have to be climbing. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This has to be the 9. And all of the rest has to be climbing. I obviously don't know what this cell is, unfortunately, so I can't. So like my pencil marks as a result will have a degree of freedom with 4, 5, 5, 6, 6, 7, 7, 8, not a 7. Come on, sleuth, think, what's wrong with this being 8? There's a degree of freedom. This cell could be any one of these. Obviously, if this is smaller with 6, 4, 5, 7, it'll be hidden because there isn't enough small digits left. So yeah, this is forced. This is 8. And then this is from 4, 5, 6, 7. Lovely. And then somewhere in here is 8 and 9. Not hugely useful. In fact, the 9 is not here. The 9 is in one of these 2 cells. This is a 9. Let's just do a bit of Sudoku. Come on. The 9 we know, of course, because of the 7. That can't be the 9. Come on. That's easy picking. So 8 and 9 are in here. 9 is in there. 9 is in one of these 2 cells, except it's not this one. That's 9, which tells me these are the hidden digits from this 7, and therefore this needs to be a steady climb. That tells me that's a 1, that's a 2. I'm going to pencil mark because I actually believe I have a degree of freedom. And this is therefore 1, 2, 3. But I don't actually have to have it as the minimum digits or the maximum digits, like any combo, that as long as it's ascending, is fine. Actually, box 5 now. Where is 3 and 4? Well, I can't hide them both in here. And this is the 3, 4 pair. There's now clearly an 8 in here. So no 8s, no 8, because it's too close to this 7. 8 is in one of these 2 cells. 8 is not here, come on. This is 8. Does it help me narrow what this is? Because that is still 3, 4, 5, 6, or 7. That is still plenty of choices. 8, of course, is in here. Do some Sudoku sleuth. So which 7s are basically done? I say done, like we've gotten a lot of value out of them. Obviously, we know that the 6 has to come after the 5 in this one. Our pencil marks in here have kind of given us all we need in here as well. So I've kind of, and I've used this one as well. I haven't used these two. So I should probably take a look at them next. So I mean, this one is almost certainly invisible. There's no way I'm going to get from 1, 2, 3 all the way and have still this cell visible. So this is not visible. Just I have to be careful about mixing kind of rows and columns. Actually, 1, just follow through a sleuth. This is 2. This is now 1. That can't be 1 and 6 anymore. This 7 was gifted a while ago. Whereas 7 in row 4 can only be in here. Whereas 6 in row 4 can only be in here. And then you end up with a 2-3 pair and a 4-5 pair. The 6 in here forces the 5. Remember, it has to be visible before it. So these are not 6s and this is not a 5. A 1-2 pair in here means this is 5 or 6. And 3-4, this has to be a 5. Of course, these two cells were always the same. I just didn't pick up on it earlier. 5 in here tells me that's a 4. 5, 6, 7. 5, 6, 7. Actually, the 5 told me 6 and 7 and 5. And therefore not 5 or 2. Look at me doing pencil marks at the same time. 6 in here gave me 5 and 2 and 1. This 5 gave me a 4, which gave me a 5, a 2, a 3, and this is a 2-8 pair. This is not 5 or 6, that's a 7. This is smaller than 5, that's 3 or 4. And down here, presumably, 3, 4, 6. If it's 6, that'll be 4, 3. If it's 3 or 4, that'll be 6, 1. Yeah, can't force it. Excuse me. Over here is a 1-6 pair. Over there is a 3-4 pair. So this 7 is definitely done. This 7 is definitely done. This 7 is definitely done. Yeah. So I have to move on and actually do something with these two. Like I said earlier, but just totally ignored. Another, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. That is an invisible cell, which tells me this has to be visible. 6 here feels very high. 3, 4, 5, 6. No, possible. So that's definitely 6. That's definitely 1. All of the remainder, by the way, now have to be visible. So this is almost certainly a 7, 8, 9 run because it needs to be visible after the 6. And these have to be kind of growing, not a 2. So this is what, 3, 4, 4, 5? Has to be essentially ascending, just without the 2 being possible. And obviously that would mean that's the 5. 3, 4 pair tells me that's the 1. Therefore that's the 6. That's not a 6. Excellent. So that 7 clue is also done. We should probably do something about this one as well. So the 7 is definitely visible. 6, remember 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 can't be any closer than this cell. So 6 is actually up here, being one of the invisible cells. So I have 6, 8, and 9 in some order. That is not 9. That is not 8. And this is 6, 8, or 9. And the 6 is not visible. So that's one of them. And the 1 is not available. Just how, look how powerful these are. Just like the 9 was in row 9, the 1 is equally powerful. Essentially, the 1 is somewhere in these two cells, and it's the hidden digit in addition to the 6. So everything else must be visible. That has to be a 2. The 2 has to be visible. And these are essentially 1, 3, 4s. That is a 3, 4 pair. So that tells me that's the 1. And they have to be both visible. So it has to be in this order, 3, 4, and then 3. And that is all of my clues, isn't it? Almost. I know that the 8 can't be before the 9. Sorry, after the 9. So the fact that, and the 9 can't be here hiding the 8. So that forces everything. That's 9, that's 8, that's 6. That's not 9, that's 9. And we probably now have some nice, simple Sudoku to finish this up. One hopes. I'm just going to double check I've got these correct. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You're good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. Good. Right. Sudoku says 4, 5, 6. I need 1 and 2. That's the 2, that's the 1. 1. And 1, 2, 3, 4. I need 5 and 6. 5 is only in here. 6, 7, and 8. I mean, the 8 is here. This is 6, 7. 1. Yeah, you can see how terrible my scanning is. Here I am trying to figure out what digit this is. 1, 2, 3, 5, 4, and 6. That's the 6, that's the 4. I need 2 and 7. That's the 7, that's the 2. This is known as a 4, I'm going to say. I need a 2, 3. I can place the 3. I can place the 7, which gives me 6 and 7. I need 2 and 6. That's the 6, that's the 2, and that's going to give me my finish. Phenomenal puzzle from these fantastic constructors. Really, really enjoy that. Haven't played Skyscrapers in a long time. And to be fair, this is a slightly... If you haven't played Skyscrapers, I admit this would be quite a difficult puzzle. So on the one hand, I would say I can see why people are giving it 2 stars. On the other hand, if you just remember what the maximum could be in a given direction from the particular clue that's given, and you pick up on tricks like that 9 and that 1, you're going to be in for a fantastic solve. Hope you guys enjoyed the puzzle and the video, and I'll see you back soon. Bye-bye for now.